Why have you not got Verts playing? Why have you not got Frimpong playing? Now, just let that sink in. There is no excuse for Liverpool not to win this game. By far the most mid team. Right, hello everybody, welcome back to The Golden Sky. I'm Tom. Today it is the match preview for Fulham against Liverpool in the Premier League. The 20th game in the Premier League this season. We have officially passed the halfway point. Today I'm going to go through everything that you need to know about both sides in this game. The games are coming thick and fast as we turn over into the new year, so are the videos. I hope you've been enjoying them. This one might be a little bit of a shorter preview. There's not loads and loads to cover, and obviously the quick turnaround. But let's start with Liverpool and look at them and my predicted lineup as always. Okay, so the predicted lineup I have then for Liverpool in this game is Alisson in the goal, Kirk at left back with Van Dijk, Konate and Bradley making up the rest of the defence. The midfield, I have Gravenberch with McAllister, with Jones just ahead of those, with Gakpo on the left, Ekitike up front, and Szoboszlai on the sort of right-hand side position. Now, there's a few names there, obviously, omitted from the lineup. Just want to remind everybody who watches this video, this is a predicted lineup. This is not what I would do before people say, why have you not got Verts playing? Why have you not got Frimpong playing? I would want them to play as well. This is what I think Arne Slot will do for this game. And this is what I think he'll do. Look, Verts, he had a bit of hamstring discomfort apparently in the last game against Leeds, and he's only trained once so far this week. I think given the quick turnaround of the game, that means for me, he's on the bench in this one. And I know that's like the worst possible thing that could happen going into this game. But yes, I think he'll be on the bench. And I also think Frimpong, who's been our best player, certainly last time out against Leeds and was pretty good in the one before that as well, against Wolves, I think he will also be on the bench because he's just come back from a 2-month injury. I'm not sure he'll be allowed to play 3 games from the start in a row. So this is the team I have. I have Kirk coming in at left back as well. And other than that, the only other bit of fitness updates is that Joe Gomez is probably going to be back on the bench, although I'm not sure that really gets anybody too excited at this point in the season. So Gakpo coming in on the left wing is another change as well. We are quite short of attackers. I mean, it doesn't feel like, looking at this team, there's many goals in the side. I think we'd all agree that. Ekitike obviously is the biggest goal threat. Gakpo can carry a goal threat at times, but he's just been so off the boil and obviously out injured for a long time now that I don't see him as a real like certainty to score a goal or create something. And then we just filled up with midfielders and defenders everywhere else. We have scored our lowest total of goals at this point in the season, halfway through, for 10 years this season. So that's not a promising stat, really. And the football has reflected that, really, hasn't it? Now, the shape, I have lined us up here in a 4-3-3 with Gakpo wide left, Szoboszlai wide right, and Jones as the attacking midfielder. It could very much be this. It could also very much be a diamond. We played diamond for a couple of games. It was pretty good. And then we've moved away from it again. We've gone to a 4-3-3. I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's quite personnel driven, but we could see it where Gravenberch comes back as the deepest player. McAllister goes as the 10. Jones comes to this left-hand side. Szoboszlai comes to this right-hand side. And then we sort of see Ekitike and Gakpo play as split strikers. The only reason why I don't see him doing this is because he never, ever, ever plays Gakpo as a striker. He's always wide on the left. And as we know, Gakpo is Arne Slot's illegitimate son. So he's going to be playing on this left wing, in my opinion, because that's where Slot likes him. And the whole team is built around Cody Gakpo, and Gakpo plays. So I think we're going to see a 4-3-3. And I think in that situation, he'll put Jones forward with McAllister deeper to let Jones lead the press. Press. Our version of a press anyway. So this is what I think we'll set up with. The morale is quite low, isn't it, guys? At this point, we are, after that Leeds game, the morale has very quickly fallen back to a place of real just defeatism, not feeling very confident about the game. I'm certainly not. I certainly wasn't very excited to come and record the preview in this one. I'm certainly not very excited to watch tomorrow. The football is dire, and it has been for a long time. I read a stat today that our win rate in the Premier League across the whole of 2025 was only 53%, and our win rate so far this season is 48% in the Premier League. Like, that is not a blip. That is too long. That is just poor. It's just bad. And it does make me wonder if that is just us. I said the title in the last video, the tactics video for Leeds, I titled it, Are We Boring? We might be a bit boring. I mean, say it very quietly, but we might be a bit boring. I don't want to see sideways passes like this from Konate and Van Dijk all game long, where we've got Gakpo really wide, we've got Kirkes stood here, Ekitike sort of up front on his own, Szoboszlai will be sort of in this area, then we'll have McAllister, Gravenberch, Jones will be stood here, and then we'll have Van Dijk, Konate, Bradley wide, and we'll try to build up like this, and we'll just constantly rotate the ball down here. Maybe Bradley will get it, maybe we'll try something, and it just goes side to side to side to side. I can't watch this again. Bring Jones back like we have been. Build up in a back three. I want to see us do this. Get Kirk as the widest player. Let him overlap Gakpo. And if you want to put Gakpo here, that's fine. But let Kirkes fly forward. Don't leave him here, because he's useless here. We have to try our best to make something happen. It does feel a little bit like the excitement to watch Liverpool has sort of been sucked out of the air, doesn't it? It really does. Arne Slot has also never beaten Fulham since he took us over. We drew 2-2 at home last season, if you remember. That was a game where Robbo got sent off early on and we drew 2-2. And then away from home, we lost 3-2. As we were about to wrap up the league, we actually went to Craven Cottage and lost 3-2. So we've been quite disappointed in our record at Craven Cottage since Fulham have been back in the Premier League over the recent years. Hasn't been amazing. It is a ground that we do tend to struggle at. We'll talk about Fulham more in a second, but before we do that, I just want to look at Arne Slot's press conference from the other day for this game, because there's just some interesting things that he said in there. So I want to read those to you guys and talk through them for a second in the video. Okay, so looking at Slot's presser from the other day, this was pre-recorded after the Leeds game and released ahead of this Fulham game. So here's some things that he said. I just thought they were interesting and worth talking about to you guys in the preview here. So you can all have your own opinions on Slot. He was very, very, very close, I feel like, to having the whole fan base turn on him after the PSV loss. And he's pulled a few people back. He's bought himself a bit of time with the recent run, but it hasn't been great, especially performance-wise. And looking at some of these quotes, make your own opinions. But he said, he was asked about some other teams in the league, and he said, realistically, I think there are two teams, Villa and Arsenal. But he said, Villa we're really close to Villa, but because Arsenal won against Villa, they created a bit of a gap towards Villa as well. Those two teams, realistically, are quite far away from us, and we should not look at those two at this moment in time. Now, just let that sink in. We won the league last year. Okay, we spent nearly £500 million in summer. And for him to say that we should not be looking at Arsenal or Aston Villa, who didn't score a goal for the first 4 or maybe even 5 games of the season in the Premier League, I think it was 4 at least, that is really a concerning quote, in my opinion. How can we have got to this position where we're not even supposed to concern ourselves with them? Aston Villa, I mean, come on, they played great this season, but we should not be in a situation where we say, we can't even look at Villa. What is this? It's so disappointing. Then he went on to say, we've had our struggles throughout. We've started really well in terms of results. The games were really close. Then we had a phase of the season where the games were still really close, but we were constantly unlucky. That's an interesting one. Now, I feel like, I think we are 7 or 8 games in a row unbeaten, but if you say this, then you might feel that we are flying through the league. That is not what we are doing. So good that he recognises that we're not flying through the league. It doesn't take a genius to see that one. But that little bit in the middle there, the games were still really close, but we were constantly unlucky. And I think that's when he's trying to say about our run of bad results. We had a couple 1-0 losses, we had a couple 2-1 losses. That run was too long for us to be just unlucky. I'm sorry, that's the fact of the matter. And I hate when he says things like that, when he blames it on being unlucky. Why we were losing games to Crystal Palace, losing games to Brentford, losing games. How else did we lose to? I mean, drew to Leeds, drew to Sunderland, got smashed by City, got smashed by Forest, got smashed by PSV, got smashed by Palace in the Cup. Is this unlucky? I don't personally think it is unlucky, but there we go. Then he went on to say, every game we play is hard work. It's two teams quite close to each other. We are mainly the team that is probably better than the other team, but not by enough. We are constantly within this 20% difference, and if you are inside this 20% difference, then going to the floor or not means a lot for the result. I think the point there is he's saying we're not separating ourselves enough from a team that we're playing against, which I agree with, we're not. I will keep pushing, and the players will keep pushing to get a situation where we are more than 20%, we can make the difference bigger, and hopefully we are finding a moment where we can fly through the season. But the first 19 games, it has been constant battle, close to each other, sometimes a bit lucky, sometimes a bit unlucky season. So he's here on and again about luck, and it's really frustrating to hear him talk about this. It is really, really frustrating. And I'm worried that if we lose to Fulham, the morale is already low. And if we lose to Fulham tomorrow, I think he could really, really face the wrath of the fan base again, who are not prepared to settle for this standard of performance. The atmosphere at Anfield was terrible the other day. I mean, it was awful. And that's because the fans are just exasperated with what they're seeing. And they tried at the end to will the ball into the net. It got really good towards the end. But there's nothing to cheer about. There's no excitement in our game. And it's really disappointing. There's some quotes. I wanted to just go through those. Let me know what you think of those in the comments. And if they're of any interest, really, to you whatsoever. Let's go and quickly look at Fulham. Talk about them for a second in this game. All right, so my predicted lineup for Fulham then in this one is going to be Leno in the goal, a back four of Castagna, Anderson, Cuenca and Robinson, a midfield two of Lukic and Berger with three in front of them, Kevin, Smith Rowe and Harry Wilson, with Raul Jimenez leading the line for Fulham. They have a lot of players missing from their squad. Let's go through those quickly. So Calvin Bassey, Alex Iwobi and Sam Chukwueze are all at AFCON. Now, you could argue that Bassey and Iwobi are two of Fulham's most important players. So big players missing for them there. Then also Kenny Tete, Josh King, Ryan Sessegnon, Rodrigo Muniz, all out injured in this one. That's 7 players there that we've named, all injured or away at AFCON for Fulham. Now, that to me means there is no excuse for Liverpool not to win this game. There is no excuse. Whether Wirtz is injured, whether Salah's at AFCON, Isak's broke his leg, whoever is injured, whatever, there is no excuse. Fulham are missing some of their most key players. We are a better side than Fulham. We obviously should be winning this game anyway if Fulham had their team with full strength, with the money we've spent on our team and the players we have. There is no excuse. And to me, it just piles on the pressure to win this game and to maybe have a good performance. Am I asking for too much there? I don't know. But Fulham, in general, usually at this point in the video, I'll tell you some stats about Fulham, and then I would show you some clips of them playing to back up what I'm saying. But Fulham are by far the most mid team in the entire Premier League, and what I mean by that is, just look at these stats. They have really nothing that I could pull out or that I wanted to spend their time and effort on a Saturday pulling out to really harping on something that is their strength or their weakness. Now, just listen to these. Okay, they're 11th in the league. Okay, they're 11th in goals per game. They're 12th in goals conceded per game. 9th in possession. 9th in clean sheets. 12th in expected goals difference. So if you take their expected goals, if you have their expected goals and you take away their expected goals conceded, the goal difference of that is 12th. They're 9th touches in the opposition box, 10th in interceptions, 8th in tackles, 9th in clearances, 7th in expected goals conceded. They are the most mid team possibly ever in the Premier League. They are going to finish mid-table. They do everything basically right in the middle of the pack. Their games don't tend to have a lot of goals in them at all. They play quite boring games, which is the perfect game for us to be having right now when there's so much heavy criticism on us being a boring side. So, guys, that's all I can say about Fulham. They really when I think of Fulham, you guys probably all have this as well in the league, but when you think of a team in the league and you just think of them and you think, they're just a bit boring, that's Fulham for me. I quite like them. They have a good set of fans, good stadium, and I like Jimenez and I like Josh King. Other than that, their team is just like, they're just there. I mean, Wilson's quite decent. Robinson's been a threat since he's come back. He's certainly a good left back. He's definitely a threat down this left-hand side with Kevin, who's quite tricky and skillful. But there's just nothing in the way of a particular, like, real selling point for Fulham that I wanted to show you on clips. So instead, we're just going to go straight to Super 6 and get those in to wrap up the preview. Okay, Super 6 then, and randomly this week or month, they're giving away a car for the winner. So if you get the 6 results right, you get 200 grand and a car. And the monthly leader at the end of the month wins the car if nobody wins. Bit weird, but here we go. Leeds, Man United, the Roses derby. This should be a really good one. What do people think? Wow, more people have Leeds winning than United. That's really interesting. United not looking great. Leeds playing really well. I quite fancy some goals in this one. Maybe a 2-2, something like that. I don't know why. Oh, it is a 12:30 though. Let me subtract 1 goal each for a 12:30. Okay, Fulham, Liverpool, 3 p.m. random time to kick off on a Sunday. I actually think we're going to win this one. I am concerned. I am concerned with this one. I can't lie. I think it could be a 1-1. I'm concerned with this one. I'm really not confident at all. Newcastle, Palace. Palace have been really struggling of late, and Newcastle are pretty good at home, although they have been really poor this season as well. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. Newcastle there. Spurs, Sunderland. Ooh, this is an interesting one. I'm going to go Sunderland 2-1 win. Spurs have been so bad at home. Let's go Sunderland 2-1 win. Why not? Everton, Brentford. Brentford have been in good form. Everton really don't have many goals on the side. I think that's a 1-1. And then Man City, Chelsea. Chelsea sacked the manager. What do we think? Yeah, probably 3 goals in this one for City. Let's go 3-1. I think I like that. And we'll go 5th minute as always for Super 6. Let's see if you see me and I'm driving a new car, I've won Super 6, apparently. Alright guys, that is going to do it for today's preview. I do hope that you did enjoy. Bit of an interesting preview today with not loads and loads to really get your teeth into and chew on, but I hope that everything we talked through in this video was enjoyable for you anyway. If it was, please do click that like button and help me get to 30 likes on the video. That would be amazing. And if you did enjoy and you're new around here, click subscribe as well. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers, so everyone who clicks subscribe helps me get closer. Really appreciate all of you guys who do so. Podcast listeners, 5-star rating and reviews. Follow the show on whatever platform you listen on. Appreciate you guys just as much as the YouTube viewers. Thank you so much for consuming however you do. Guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'm going to be watching the darts final tonight. I am way more excited about that, unfortunately, than I am about the Liverpool game tomorrow. It's a painful existence at the minute to be a Liverpool fan. It really is. But I'll be back tomorrow with the ratings after the game, as always. Hopefully they're happy ratings and not sad, deflated ratings. We'll see how it goes. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekends. I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Goodbye.